All right, in this video, we're going to talk about group space. Now, you may go, why do we need to talk about group space? Well, it's actually a very important reason why. So there's some different factors we need to think about before you actually start meeting together as a group. Before you even fully commit to a space, you need to already kind of have in your mind a roster, and we'll talk about that in a different video about forming your roster. But basically, first of all, where are your people coming from? If there is a certain location, let's say your home is on the far away outskirts of everyone that's in your group, it's probably not going to work well for people to meet at your place. Maybe you live on a really bad hill, dirt road that's very difficult to get to, and 3 months of the year it's hazardous to get to your home. Well, that's just going to stress people out trying to get there, and it's going to take away from their experience if their car is having to be towed out of the ditch because they tried to get to church. So right off the get-go, hopefully your house works best. And if that's the case, wonderful, you've defined your group space. But even with that being said, think about how you have your area that you're going to meet set up. What works well is to have a little area that people gather for snacks and drinks and refreshments before you get together, and then like a living room area that's comfortable with the TV that you can display your slides, and for people to feel comfortable, that's more of an intimate setting. Typically, you don't want the snack zone to be the same as your study zone because that can get loud. People are snacking, you can't hear well. It becomes a little bit too informal, and just you want to have a separation between those two. So you have a defined time of fellowship before and a defined time of fellowship afterwards. But when it's study time, like that's what we're focused on. So think about that with group space. As your group grows, if you're not quite ready to divide yet, you may want to look at your local community center. And a lot of times you can work out a deal with them that is pretty amazing. Sometimes you can rent community rooms for an hour for like $25 or something like that. If you already know what your group is taking in monthly, maybe that's something that isn't even a big deal. You can use your the 50% that the group gives that you get back to pay for the group space. If it's $25 a week, that's $100. So it's not that big of a deal. So community centers can be great resources. There's other different places. Some hotels have conference rooms that you can rent, and sometimes those are cheap. Maybe it's a different member in your group is more centrally located and they wouldn't mind hosting. And so maybe you started at your home, but the group decided through discussion that you want to transition from your home to that other member's home. Think about what works best for the group. Group space is important. In our history, we met in an old church that we rented, which was way expensive. We've met in a golf banquet center, a golf club. We met in a community center, and we have met actually at my residence. So there's a variety of ways that could happen. I would love to help you determine what works best. If you're struggling with that, definitely pray about it. I can tell you the Lord will give you a sense of peace in the right area that you are to meet. So group space is important. Think about that. Really think about that in depth before you actually commit to your first meeting time together, because first impressions are big. But I do want to say also that as you get together and as you have these experiences, you'll learn things, and your space will be altered to better suit the group's needs. So you don't have to have it all perfect week one. It's not going to be perfect. There's going to be some things you need to iron out, but try to get rid of those obstacles and roadblocks right off the get-go.